All right, everyone. Welcome to today's charting session. Sa mga hindi pa po nakakaalam, what we do here is we typically look at either yung mga trending names, and by that, I mean yung mga pangalan na maaaring malaki yung ginalaw, whether to the upside or to the downside, or perhaps malaki yung value traded, or generally speaking, mas minamatahan lang po ng mga tao. Also, tumatanggap din po tayo ng mga chart requests. So kung meron po kayong mga requests, please feel free to let me know in the comment section below. Alright, so let's start off with 80, no? Now, ano na nga ba yung nangyari dito? After tong strong move to the upside, as we discussed the last time we looked at this, nakain yung entire move pababa. After that, naging medyo maingat na tayo dito sa 80. Bakit? Kasi syempre, it's never a bullish sign kung yung entire move up mo na inaasahan mo na very bullish na nga ay nakain din halos pabalik. Okay? Now, whether or not you believe na nakain yung entire move will depend on, baka pwede mo sabihin na, eto may konti pa siya dito. But for me, essentially, the move was undone. Okay? So, I've been very wary sa paglapit dito kay 80. After niya gawin yon, essentially, pwede nating sabihin na parang nagcha-channel siya pataas, no? So, essentially, it can be construed as a bear flag. A bear flag meaning nagcha-channel siya pataas, and we're looking for potential breaks to the downside of that channel to see further moves pababa. Okay? So far, wala pa naman, pero wala pa ring strong feeler or paramdam na it's ready to move up. Na okay na siya umakyat, na gusto na niyang basagin at bumalik doon sa mga levels sa taas. So what are we looking for from here? So the bearish scenario is yun nga, if we can break beneath this trend line somewhat and then move to the downside, break beneath tong 6.7 natin na level, test it from underneath, mag-hold and then mag-roll over, then highly likely price will number one, revisit tong 6.39, but I don't think that will end there. I think when we revisit this, yes, it may hold, yes, we may trade within this range pang samantala, but sooner rather than later, given the current structure, we will break tong 6.39 and we could see price trade back within this lower range between 5.76 to 6.39. Okay? However, if price can come back and not just break tong 7.18 but actually reclaim tong 7.48, then I would be a bit more bullish, and yung kumbaga yung pag-iingat ko mas matetemper kasi iisipin ko na kung nabasag natin tong 7.48, it could be a sign that price is willing to come back and trade within this higher range here between 7.48 to 8.4. Okay? Pero kung patuloy lang to, mag-channel lang ganyan dahan-dahan, then for me, hintay-hintay lang. I would wait for something more definitive to happen before considering whether or not I want to jump back in dito sa 80. Next, tignan po natin yung CEB, no? Now, CEB has been essentially trading within this range here, pangsamantala, and now you can be a bit more conservative and say na pwede bang itong buo yung range niya? Pwede rin naman, but for me, parang mas established tong range na to more than this one, no? I know it's there, I'm aware of it, pero mas tinitignan kong actual na range will be etong smaller rather area na to, between 39.9 hanggang 51.6. Now, I realize that's still a very wide area. That's why, as always, sinesegment natin siya para mas mag-make sense. Okay? Now, ever since we broke back above tong 44.8, anong ginawa ng CEB? We moved higher, consolidated, and then today we pushed higher and tagged yung resistance at 51.6. Saan galing tong level na to at 51.6? As you can see, this has acted as a very good inflection point, acting as support here, resistance there, and so on, no? So it's a very good inflection point na, as we can see, price reacted quite decently off. Now, it doesn't mean na tapos na yung bullish move. I don't know if it's done, no? It remains to be seen. Titignan pa natin ano magpo-form bukas, makalawa, next week, and so on before we can say. But what are the scenarios that we can watch out for dito sa CEB? Number one is if we can actually reclaim tong 51.6 and start trading above it, then I think mag-open up yung range between 51.6 papuntang 55.25. However, let's say bumagsak tayo. We break beneath these lows here. Then what we're expecting is a possible reaction from 44.8. If 44.8 does not hold, what might happen is either number one, balikan natin yung gap dito, or number two, i-revisit natin yung mga lows na nandito from before. Meaning, the deeper it goes, if it breaks 44.8, the likelihood na magte-trade tayo back within this lower segment ng wider range natin heightens slightly. Or actually not slightly, heightens a lot. Okay? So, yun yung iniingatan natin dito sa CEB. If may hawak na kayo and nakasakay kayo to the upside, then of course, congratulations, no? Pero kung sakaling wala pa, just be a bit more patient, wait for more confirmation because it's really hard to trade if prices within itong area of chop na to. Kasi wala talaga kayong makukuhang kasiguraduhan eh. Walang certainty. Even moving your stop would be difficult kapag ka nagtatrade kayo within this much chop. Okay? So, konting ingat-ingat lang po. Kung wala pa, konting patience. Kung meron, just make sure na sundan nyo po yung trail stop at yung disiplina ninyo. Alright, now pag-usapan naman po natin yung house, no? Now, itong house, the way it moves, at least lately, is mag-range siya ng ganito, mag-break to the upside, range ulit konti. Ito, gumulo ng konti, pero dito, nag-range siya naman tayo, broke to the upside, tapos yun, nag-range siya naman tayo dito. Okay? Yung mga ganitong structure, honestly, and itong particular stock, hindi ko siya tinetrade, no? At least I don't like trading tong 89.90 or house kasi medyo illiquid siya eh. The reason why it can stay in such a prolonged sideways movement or the reason why bakit ang bilis niyang gumulo tapos para lang bumalik sa ganito is kasi nga may tendency siya na magkaroon ng bungi sa market orders, no? Meaning, minsan, kunyari, sa one side, nasa 13.6, kunwari, pero yung kabilang side niya, sabihin natin, nasa 12.5, medyo malaki yung difference. Now, I'm not saying it's always like that. I'm saying it's often like that when it comes dito sa house. So, medyo nag-iingat-ingat ako ng konti to trade yung mga ganitong bagay if I do end up trading it. In this particular instance, I didn't, no? Much to my detriment kasi obviously, tumaas siya. Now, what are you looking for from here? Since meron na tayong very established na base, what you're looking for obviously is a break to the upside. If we can break above 14 pesos, then the next resistance level will be at 14.5. However, if we break beneath 13, then yung support natin, pwede nating mahanap around 12 pesos. Okay? I say around kasi again, odds are medyo bungi-bungi yung market orders nito, yung order book, 'di ba? So, baka mas malalim ng konti at kung gusto niyo mang bumili, baka mas mabili niyo ng mas mura konti. Again, depending sa kung ano yung itsura nung books at the time. But for now, yun yung binabantayan ko dito. If we can break to the upside, break above 14, then 14.5 yung next level of resistance natin. Break beneath 13, we'll watch to see if 12 pesos can hold. And if we can trade within this range pang samantala, as price decides what it wants to do, whether it moves further to the downside or moves further to the upside from there. Alright, next pag-usapan naman natin yung AEV. Okay? Now, I'm starting this zoomed out just to show you how far up we've gone dito sa AEV as a reminder lang. Okay? We've gone from all the way dito sa low na to nung May 2021 at around 35 pesos more or less and umabot tayo sa 65 nung high natin nung kasagsagan niya. Now, we're back to 55 pesos. Okay? So, the reason why I'm showing you that before we zoom in is because you need to approach this for me in one of two ways. Again, if you're trading long-term, depende sa pagbabasa nyo sa chart, you can say na this has been the one move up. So you're looking for a possible deeper retracement. Okay, perhaps it might come back here, 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 this area here, wherever. Diba? You're looking for a possible deeper replacement and then from there, looking to see if we continue our move to the upside, again, from a higher time frame perspective. Now, I needed to mention this kasi maraming nagsasabi na long term dapat yung view natin sa AEV, walang bibitaw kahit na bumabaksak siya lately, no, na we've gone from 65 to 56. So I wanted to cover that a little bit lang para kung sakali man na ganun man yung perspective nyo, napagbigyan ko rin kayo. Now, the way I see it, the way I would trade tong AEV, number one, where we are right now isn't exactly the best of areas. Bakit? Kasi again, we are caught within etong range na to. We are caught within chop. So given those parameters, ang iniisip ko lagi is saan siya pwedeng pumunta para magkaroon ako ng interest ulit, para masabi ko na bullish ulit. Diba? And syempre, on the flip side, iniisip ko rin ano yung dapat mangyari para maging uber bearish na ako dito. Now, sa bearish perspective muna, if we can break beneath this area here between 52.35 to 54, clean breakdown, test it, break lower, then I think kung ganon, we might at the very least revisit yung mga lows na naiwan natin dito from before. And then, baka nga mag-play out yung mga higher time frame perspectives na tinitingnan ng ibang traders. Okay? Yung bullish naman, you can look at it again in a couple of ways. Okay? We can't discuss all the ways kasi sobrang dami. But let's discuss the most common ones. Number one, if we can reclaim tong 60 pesos, then there's a decent chance na we come back and tag yung 63.25 na resistance level. Okay? If we can break above 63.25, then 65.15 yung next resistance level natin after that. Okay? So, come back here, hold, diba? Maybe trade within this range, then kung mag-break out, dyan yung next na untog. The other way you can approach is kung talagang uber bullish kayo ng AEV for some reason, then you can just wait for a breakout nung all-time high, nung 52-week high niya, and then assess from there. Kasi at least mas malinaw yung inaabangan or hinahanap nyo moving forward. Right now, yes, you could approach it from a value perspective and say na, dapat bilhin ko to at price X or price Y kasi for me, I feel like it's fair value. And syempre, I'm not gonna dispute that, no? Pinag-aralan nyo yan eh. Pero ako, personally, I would wait for either bullish scenario to trigger before I start considering AEV again. And then finally, tignan po natin yung nangyari dito sa MAC. Okay? So, again, we are trading within this wider range here. Okay? And you could even say within that wider range there, again, depende on how you want to approach this. Kung longer time frame perspective, shorter, whatever. Diba? Kung ano pa man din po yung tinitignan nyo or hinahanap nyo sa isang chart. For me, I'm approaching this na parang ito yung wider range natin pang samantala. And that's between 4.8 to 6.25. Okay? Now, naglagay ako ng level dito sa 5.4 instead na dito sa high na to. And the reason for that is price broke beneath this, came back, tagged this area here, which was the last little high of this small range prior to breaking out. Diba? So I figured I would put a level there, so price did come back, tagged that level almost perfectly, and then we moved higher from there. Now, ano yung mga potential scenarios natin dito sa MAC? Given na nag-form na tayo ng rejection dito, dun muna tayo sa mas madali. If price comes back, breaks beneath yung 5.4, then I believe na ang mangyayari next is magkitrade na tayo within this lower bound ng range natin, between 4.8 to 5.4. Again, a tradable range, but whether a trade actually sets up is a different matter altogether. So yun yung mas madaling scenario natin. Okay? Sa bullish scenario, it gets a bit trickier. Pwede kasi natin sabihin, number one, na if we can break above tong 5.9 or 6 pesos na area, then we could come back and tag tong 6.25. However, we do need to acknowledge na marami ring chop na naganap sa area na to. So, whether or not that's a trade that actually sets up or if it actually ends up being bullish, meaning tutuloy siya, remains to be seen. Okay? The other way is hintayin natin na mabasag yung 6.25, and if it does, I think na magiging tradable range natin by then will be 6.25 to 6.6. Okay? I think yon mas malinis ng konti. It doesn't yield great rewards, quote and quote, especially kung by percentage lang tayo lagi nagpipilang, but it's a cleaner trade kasi even if you zoom out diba? Aside from itong konting gulo dito, ito wala yan So it's seemingly looking like a cleaner trade compared sa just waiting for 6 pesos to break and hoping na pag tumaas to dito ay mabasag niya kagad yung 6.25. Okay? Kasi there's always the chance na we break this, hold, ganyan, untogs, baba ulit We don't know. So, for me, kapag ganito, I would like to wait for cleaner price action. That's not to say that a trade will materialize if we break above 6.25. I'm just saying na if we broke above 6.25 and a trade did materialize, it would likely be cleaner than trying to trade it from somewhere down here. Okay? Now, kung nabasag natin yung 5.4 tulad na sabi natin kanina, tapos pati 4.8 nabasag pa natin. Pag ganon, I think mas maganda, iwas-iwas na talaga muna tayo ng konti dito sa MAC. Maybe look for other opportunities na lang kung sakali mang mangyari lahat yon. Basta for me right now, the best play, not just in MAC, but for almost every single stock sa PSE, is patience. Okay? Forcing a trade right now just simply isn't smart. Yes, you may win here and there, and if you're lucky, you might win them all. Pero, since hindi ganun kaganda yung market conditions, you're better off saving your bullets for something more high probability down the line. So guys, dito po nagtatapos yung video natin, no? I hope nakatulong po to sa inyo kahit konti and may natutunan kayo kahit papano. And if so, I would really appreciate it if you give this video a like and consider subscribing to my channel. And as always guys, maraming salamat po sa panonood. I really appreciate it. Good luck and happy trading!